Listening to this podcast right now! Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my god.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me,
Yes.
Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
I'm a dude who likes brews. It's time for Brews with Dudes. Juicy. Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 11. Or is it 12? Did you say it's 12?
12.
Okay, episode 12. Welcome to an episode.
We're not even drinking yet.
Welcome to an episode of Brews with Dudes. I'm your host, Nick Maxon, sitting here with Dr. Dongo again.
Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome back. AJ.
Hey, how's it going?
At it again. Going great. And Brett Maxwell, how are you doing, dude?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to
Sweet.
supply this episode.
Yes, this is Brett's Christmas haul. So we've got, was it 5 beers?
We have got 5 beers, all from different parts of Illinois, a couple from Chicago. My dad and family live out there, so I decided to pick up a bunch of local brews while I was out there to do a special episode.
Well, sweet. Let's we're about to jump into a sour. Let's take a sip, and then you can explain it to everybody. Cheers.
Nice and tart.
Ooh,
Very tart.
it fills the mouth.
It does. And Nick, I know I've talked to you before. I'm not the biggest sour fan, but when I saw I've got this one, I've got another one at home. I saw these and I really wanted to try them. And not gonna lie, I did drink one while I was in Illinois, so I've already tried it, and it is mighty tasty.
It is pretty tasty.
What is it? This is Destihl Brewing from Normal, Illinois. It's pretty much center of the state. It's called Cranberry Crike. It's brewed with cranberries and cherries, and it is very tasty.
It's got a 17 IBU. I totally agree. It's not bitter at all. It really fills your mouth with tartness.
The only sour that I've had before this was a Damascene apricot sour from, I do believe, Tin Man Brewing. And I've never tried a sour before that, so this is my second sour that I've had like in my entire life, and it's pretty tasty.
It is pretty tasty.
I'm seeing that they dry hopped this.
Did they?
Yeah, it says we then dry hopped this crimson-colored beer for a touch of citrus aroma and flavor.
You know, it's got one of those flavors that I know I don't like it, but I want to keep going back to continually check. Do I really not like that?
I think I like it, but I'm not quite sure yet.
It's like it leaves that taste in your mouth, and you're like, I want it out of there, but I feel like the only way to get it out of there is put more in.
Just gonna drink more of it. That'll do the trick.
Coming up on the New Year's, it actually reminds me of like the Welch's grape sparkling soda that you would drink on New Year's as a kid. That you want to.
Yeah.
You can't have champagne yet, so you have to have the fake stuff. So,
Champagne.
this actually does have alcohol in it, so it's better.
It's doing the trick. It's only about 5%.
Not high, yeah, definitely not high. I don't think most sours are though. Are they?
There are some that are a little deeper, but yeah, generally they're not too terribly high. Cranberries. What do we got here? Normally associated with a traditional creek, but in a kettle sour beer that is wonderfully intricate, balanced, fruity, and tart. That is my opinion, not what is written on the can.
I agree with that.
Do you believe me? I've never heard of Destihl.
I haven't either.
Did you grab anything from them that wasn't a sour?
Yes, I actually have a milk stout at the house that I will be bringing over for another episode. So,
Sweet.
And I'm not going to lie, I did try one of those as well, and it was very tasty. So,
Well, that's awesome that they're able to get opposite ends of the spectrum down.
I will say, other than the sours and the stout I got, they seemed a little boring. Just a couple different ales that I almost didn't get anything until I saw the stout and the sours. I was going to go for something else, but once I saw those, I'm like, you know what? Those actually sound pretty good.
I wasn't going to say this because it might offend somebody who's listening in Normal, Illinois, but
Well.
you know, I'm not really surprised that they have a little boring flavors in Normal, Illinois.
It's just a little too flat.
A little too normal for my taste.
But these sours though, these are fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
like
Normal,
it.
Illinois has got some kickers.
I like it. I don't know if they had other brews that weren't in stock at the time that I just didn't see. But when it came down to budgeting, they were a little lower on the list, but I do like the turnout so far.
Was it probably somewhere in the... Was it a 6-pack?
This was a 4. The other sour was a 4 as well. The stout, though, was a 6-pack. I ended up getting like 2 flats of beer, 2 6-packs, and the rest were 4s.
Nice.
So I had a pretty good haul. My fridge is happy. It smiled when I came home. It never seen such a range of beer before.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in myself. Last weekend we went to 450 North, and I stocked what I thought was stocking up. And so it's, what is it, Thursday? So we're sitting here less than a week later,
Yep.
and I've only got 2 beers left.
To be fair, we did have Drunk Catastrophe
We did.
and Brews with Dudes prior to that.
That was an unbelievably drunk podcasting evening. We definitely got lit up on the Brews with Dudes, but most of us were shirtless by the end of the...
we took our shirts off several times, but they always ended up back on, and then back off, and then back on. What's crazy is, like, I remember the next day being like, man, I could have got drunker.
Oh.
And then I listened back, and
it's
I'm
like,
like, I don't remember any of this.
I don't remember much of anything. I remember, was it Miranda's mom that had the hots for me at one? Was that who that was?
I think so.
Or her aunt or someone?
It was her mom.
They were live streaming.
Yeah,
And
I watched it a little bit.
I just washed my hair like the day before, so my hair was out and flowing. I was shirtless.
The camera view was like right on your back too, so we had good view of your hair.
It was a mess. I'll say that. I
did
at least.
listen at work for a little bit. I was enjoying it while I was not able to make the festivities. I was listening in, and it was
Awesome.
It was a good time.
We were really getting it. That was an all-star cast.
That really
I love
was.
having Dave. I love having Dave on anytime.
Hi, Dave.
Are you out there? Love you.
We're
Dave
waiting
unfortunately said he was busy all day. We even tried to get some D&D going tonight, and
He wasn't having it.
he's not free today.
It's okay.
That's right.
It's okay.
Soon, Dave.
We'll get you again sometime.
Say we're about done with these sours here.
What should we knock
Probably-
into next? I know I looked at all the beers that you brought, but I didn't take it all in. I know there's an IPA. I know there's a stout. I think.
There is the Snake Oil IPA, which is probably going to be the next one.
That sounds about right.
And then after that, we'll get a little bit back into the fruity. We've got I brought the Mango IPA from Pipeworks, or it's a saison IPA.
Okay.
And then I've got, what was it? We've got a Moroccan coffee stout.
Well, now that sounds good.
It is tasty. And then last but not least, we got the big doozy. We got the Death's Tar.
Death's Tar.
And even the can is intimidating, honestly.
It makes me feel as though my entire planet is about to be blown up just for the point of making a point. There's a princess on a spaceship somewhere looking down at us, getting ready to drink this beer before it explodes.
Oh, man.
So I got a question for you, because I've been on the show before, and you guys know I'm not much of a beer person.
I'm not either.
I'm not very knowledgeable.
I do this show not only to be a guest on here, but to learn more about all the different types of beers. It's my journey
right
into beer.
Oh, he said it.
Oh, shit.
He did the thing, guys.
We try to say it at least once every episode.
Somebody out there is wearing like one shirt that just says "Journey into Beer,"
And if they're not, that should be our thing.
It will be. Oh, yeah. Once you guys start doing, once we all start doing like shirts and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Brews with Dudes is going to have like Journey into Beer on the back.
It's going to be a mess.
Oh, that'd be a
We've already started thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
what is the... It's got to be something crazy. I love the logo and stuff that we've got now.
Yes. I can't wait to start doing Podcastrophe merch.
It's gonna be.
Nate and I were talking about that last night on Podcastrophe episode 17, which dropped today.
Oh wow!
Well, yeah, I recorded real late.
Damn. I feel like I think we're 2 episodes ahead right now. I think we're trying to kick some ass. I think we're doing a New Year's episode too.
Oh boy!
Like a pregame to the party.
Oh boy! I'll be here.
We're talking about going in on a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. You gonna get in on that?
How much?
It's gonna be probably $20 a piece.
Okay.
But it's a $250 bottle of whiskey.
Oh shit!
It's
the bee's knees.
It's supposed to be some really good scotch.
So if you guys are both in on it, that makes 5 of us that are in on it. So we are about halfway there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would be down.
Yeah,
everyone
I'm
else
totally
doing
in.
it. Down.
It's where were we at? Rookies.
Yes,
and he pulled it out. We're like, how much are the shots? He's like, only $30 or something.
$30 for a single.
For a single shot is retarded.
Yep. Ounce and a half on the rocks, $30.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
It's big boy stuff for sure.
He was trying to tempt me because every time I'm at Rookies, I drink Johnny Walker Black, and they give me a good price on it. But $30 was not a good price for a single on this drink. So,
Hey, how much for a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue? How's your left kidney holding up?
Not good. All right, well, that wasn't the magic pour. We're going to need some more. Sorry, Dongo.
It's okay.
This has got a really amber color to it. This is the snake oil from Four Hands Brewing. It says it pairs well with spicy food and grilled beef. An India Pale Ale. Giant skull on the front of it. Uh-oh. Brett, this one's actually from St. Louis, Missouri.
is it?
It is.
Oh man, how did I not notice that?
It's quite all right. It looks like it is a 6.5 ABV. It just says the same shit over and over again on the top. Why would you waste the ink on that?
It does. 2 different colors, all around the top of the can.
Same fucking thing. Okay, so I kind of stole that one from Brett. We didn't need Brett to describe every single
all right.
beer. He would get bored with it, I'm sure.
The design of the can, though, I like the matte design.
Me too. I really do. I do.
I've always liked matte colors.
I will say in my defense, I was about 15 minutes away from St. Louis at the liquor store I was at. My parents live very close to St. Louis, so it's local to my dad's location.
Yeah, he's in the southwestern tip of Illinois, and when we looked on a map, it was like it looked almost like a suburb of St. Louis. It's like really
Looked
close.
like St. Louis almost like went into Illinois itself. This is good.
That's good.
That is a
It's a
very
nice
tasty
crisp
brew.
taste to it.
The color is deceiving. The color made me think it was going to be incredibly bitter, but it's not really
Nice and
that bitter.
smooth.
Yeah,
It was a really smooth. The liquid itself felt very full.
yeah.
Very heavy liquid, I would say. Flavor, a little light on the flavor, I thought.
Yeah, I'm
not
to
To
get
know what
another.
the IBUs are.
I'm not getting a very crisp taste like you just said, but definitely enjoyable.
I could definitely sling one or two of these back.
And that's the thing, like with me and sours, I can only have one sour and I've got my fill. Something like this, it's not too high on the ABV. You know, it's not too bitter, so it goes down pretty easy. I could definitely put a couple back and probably be a little lit afterwards, but it'll be all right.
Definitely more than a little. If I drank that whole 4-pack, it would probably make me feel silly.
Just
I agree.
plain silly.
Just a little bit
This
out of
does
the
have a
loop.
really good taste, though. Definitely like the color up behind it.
A bit caramel.
It doesn't have any specific aroma, though.
No.
It's got a good aroma, but I can't put my finger on anything specific.
I'm kind of stuffy, but I still don't smell anything.
Tastes pretty much like a beer. Not trying to be a cop-out, guys. Don't take offense to that.
It's pretty, I don't want to say generic, but it's good.
It's a good old beer. It's a good old beer.
This would be like a staple in the St. Louis area. Like Two Hearted is our staple here. This would be.
I can see that.
This is probably a good staple beer.
I'm looking at their Facebook page, and it looks like they do a lot of fun releases and stuff. Maybe we're gonna have to make a trip there sometime.
A good 5-hour trip to St. Louis for a decent release.
It looks like they've got
It's not even a bad drive.
like a bona fide series. Looks like they release like 4 or 5 beers in that same kind of realm. We've been getting into the 450s Nugget series. We've been digging on that really hard.
And the couple I've had are really good. I'm ready for that Super Nugget Brothers.
I really enjoyed the powdered.
Ooh.
You like the powdered better?
The powdered nuggets, yeah.
I'm gonna give powdered my vote amongst the two. Although I'm super stoked to try the Super Nugget Bros.
I am too. I leaned a little more towards the gold nuggets though.
Yeah,
The gold wasn't bad. Gold wasn't bad at all.
It had more of that bite that I liked.
I haven't tried the cocoa nugs though.
The Cocoa Nugs is really good for being a milk stout.
Yeah.
Definitely different on the spectrum than the other Nugget series were. Now, Nick, I'm not certain. Are the Juicy Nugs and the Fruity Nugs, are those IPAs?
Yes, I believe so.
So the Cocoa Nugs was the only one that really differed from the IPA realm.
Now, last Thursday, after the Doom Room Appreciation Night, we all came back here, and you had me try some milkshake. That milkshake.
I think it was Brewlink. Brewlink's maybe a mango milkshake, something like that.
That was good.
Oh yes, it
that
was.
was real good.
I don't know if I tried that one.
I think I've still got one left.
Yeah.
I love the milkshakes. I'm trying to think of. I had one from another brewery, and I don't remember what it was, but the Brewlink one, they're the ones that made the Nutter Cup.
Yeah. Oh man.
Brewlink's on point. I'm really digging them.
Have
lately.
we had Nutter Cup on an episode?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I wasn't sure. I might not have been here for that one.
I was keeping a nice tally on the on the info of our Facebook page, telling you what we drank on each episode, so you had kind of a reference point. But I think we're about 5 episodes behind at this point. And it's funny because I'll get the message. You know, we air on Saturdays, so I'll get the message usually Wednesday or Thursday from Nate. He says, "Hey, can you shoot me over the info for this episode?" And I have to go. Yeah, shit. I have no idea. I don't even know. So I have to
go back and listen.
I have to go look over at my pictures because I always take a picture of the beers. I'm like, what were we drinking?
I always get the episode descript message in the group chat. But last night, since he was on, I was like, I was like, Nate, you know what the cool thing about you being my guest this week is?
You get to come up with it yourself.
Like, what's that? I was like, you get to write the description.
There we
Fuck
go.
You.
I've run out of clever things to say. I've been doing this too much.
I hate doing the description. Just as like it's. How do you describe your own art?
I'm stuck between like making sure that I give a shout out to everybody on the episode and giving a shout out to the beers that we're drinking. Because I guess in my head I like the beers to be more of a surprise.
Yeah,
I'm more interested in being like, look, I got Brett and Dr. Dongo on this episode, and we're drinking good beer, and you have to listen to know what beers we're actually drinking. Because
that's a good idea.
Because you might just look at the description, you're like, oh, they drink these kinds of beers, and I've had that beer, I'm not going to listen.
Right.
No.
You should still listen.
No.
Don't do it.
Do it.
On the other side of that coin, though, what I really like is like in the beginning episodes where it's like I could go back and listen to episode 1. You tell me exactly what beers you've been drinking, and I could go out and grab every single one of those beers and drink them while you're talking about it on the show.
That's true.
There's a little character involvement.
I like the idea of that.
That is a cool idea. Maybe we can explore that in the future, saying like these are the beers that we're going to be that we drank on this episode that will premiere this weekend.
Exactly.
So grab the beers if you can and drink along with us. That would be cool.
I really like that idea.
I want to find the dedicated fan that's willing to travel to Illinois to get some of these beers because
that is very true.
We've had 2 good ones so far, and we've got 3 more to come. And they're going to be mighty tasty.
What is this one? 6.5. So we went from 5% to 6.5.
Yep.
It's gonna get darker and more dangerous as we go.
The next one is the mango, and it's only a 4.5.
Is that the saison or the IPA?
It's a saison IPA, I think, or session IPA. I don't know. I can't. SESSION.
There is a It's a session.
That's
Session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saison is more like not a sour, but it's lighter.
So it is a session IPA.
I'm really glad I didn't have to ask that question. I've been wondering myself.
Yeah, saisons are a little more or lighter. Maybe have that hint of sour.
Okay.
In my experience.
So with that being said,
session IPA
means it's more. You can. You can drink a lot of it.
Yeah.
All day IPA
Yeah.
is a session
Okay.
IPA.
Which makes sense, it being 4.5.
No,
Yeah.
it's only 4.5.
I'm so glad you
4.5.
asked that
Yeah,
for me.
you can drink 5 of them and be fine.
With that being said, yeah, of course there's a difference between Saison and Session, you fucking idiot.
I'm
Jeez.
so sorry.
God,
Dick.
come on.
You fucking noob.
Fuck. I just drink the beer to get drunk, okay? Like,
What
I
did you
know.
just turn 21?
I remember my first beer. It's hams.
Dude, have you ever even tried Dos Equis? You ever drank a Coors, bruh? Best beer right?
I need to go back to the night AJ got fucked up.
Oh, man.
What'd you have? A couple PBRs.
Quote, I had a couple PBRs immediately. Now. Whoa, let me stop you right there.
And we just beat him up.
Yeah, immediately.
It's like, dude, are you serious?
I can't
I think
remember.
what happened was you mentioned it when the batteries died, and then I was like, holy shit, I forgot about that night. That is the focus of the next half of the episode.
It was,
is
yeah.
just laughing at how bad that night went.
Let's point and laugh at AJ for not handling alcohol, which, okay, albeit, you can. I could not handle my alcohol that night.
You barely made it home, and when you did, you were like, you sent a group message like, thank you guys for taking care of me.
I was just like, seriously, thank you. All of you. You were the best. Oh, it was so great.
It was a fun night, though.
Yeah, that was just a couple
It was a good
peepers.
night.
I did have a good night. I remember Brett, you were there when I was Ralphing in the toilet, and you were just like, "Are you gonna be mad if I leave?" And I'm like, "Dude, you just go."
I just wanted to make sure my buddy
doing
was
my
okay.
thing.
I got you some water.
My boy, I would have appreciated Brett maybe taking a picture.
Yeah.
I should have.
You
I
totally
should
have.
That would have been
any-
nice.
Especially
I will-
if it would have been like one of you actually Ralphing, like getting the projectile
Action shot.
I will say it right now, just so you guys, it's on recording now. You can hold this to me for the rest of my life. Anytime I get so plastered, I Ralph, snap a picture of me and
We're
send
gonna
it to
do
me in the
it.
morning.
We are
Thank
going
you.
to do it.
done.
I need this in my life. This is going to be a great time.
I almost need this next beer in my life. This one is mighty tasty, but
But I'm ready for more.
I'm ready for more.
I'm ready for another.
I'm ready to
Next,
get back into
please.
that juicy, fruity flavor.
We're all drinking out of my new pint glasses. I got these from the Wadleys, John and Jean. It's got a little beer glass on it, and it says, "It's never too early for beer o'clock."
I mean, it's pretty early in the evening on a Thursday. It is 3 o'clock right now, and we are about to be 5 beers deep.
I believe it was 11:30 that Brett hit me up.
Yeah, no,
It was like, let's start figuring out how we're
Yep.
going to drink 5 of these beers.
as soon as possible. I would have done it at noon. Would have been a really bad idea. Luckily, we got some lunch beforehand. 'cause-
Yeah, Dongo was like, I'm eating lunch now, and I'm like, yes.
Yep. If I did not.
Oh,
have
man,
food,
almost forgot that.
If I did not have food and accidentally came into just beer, I would be taking a power blackout on your couch.
Yeah, which would have been fun, but
I still might.
We would have taken a picture of
I was
it.
gonna say, I know for sure AJ's gonna have to go home and take a nap before work.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
be
I got-
so wasted.
I got work tonight. It's going to be...
Have you eaten today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
As
then
soon-
you're
as-
one step up. So
As soon as I heard Brews with Dudes, I was just like, all right, gotta
fuck.
open up that fridge. Let's
just
get something in
eats
me.
a half loaf of bread.
I think Dongo responded with shit.
Well, because I was at Wendy's with my girlfriend on her hour lunch break, and so I'm like, oh man, I really wanted to be part of this, and you're like, oh, we're gonna go to lunch. I'm like, okay, I'll run home and get my mic because I was gonna go to the gym directly after that, and then you're like, oh, it'll be about 2:00. I'm like, okay, I have time for a short workout and come straight here.
So this is going to be a little off topic, but while Brett's getting the next beer lined up, there's something I wanted to talk about. You guys, I should lead with this. No spoilers from me, at least.
Okay.
But you've all seen the new Star Wars
Yes.
movie, right?
Yes.
While it was being filmed, Mark Hamill said, I don't like the way that Luke is portrayed in this, and blah, 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 some such, so forth. And then when he saw the movie, he went on to go against himself and say, well, actually, now that I've seen the movie, I get it. I think that was the perfect way to end it. That was the perfect way to,
Ryan
lead out.
Johnson explained to him
Yeah,
like
exactly.
his why he was doing it the way he was doing it, and then that's where he's like, okay, I still kind of don't agree with it, but it fits the overall picture. So
Exactly. He
it
at
fits.
he understands.
Yeah.
And everybody and their mother just decided to shit on Mark Hamill as soon as he said that. They're just like, well, fuck him, blah, blah, blah. And
I stand by my statement that I think that we will come to appreciate 8 more after 9
Yeah.
when we see the full vision play itself out. Because
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but this was filler. Like, it gave us a lot, but it was... Right, you said no spoilers. It's a lot of filler for what is to come, I think, at least. But I will say that just yesterday, an article came out. I don't remember who it was from. Actually, I think it was just Screen Crush talking about a tweet from Mark Hamill. But Mark Hamill came out and said, in the past 2 or 3 days, he said, I really regret giving my opinion, especially in a negative light, because
Absolutely.
some people weren't able to escape Mark Hamill's critique, because so many people love Mark Hamill, so many people appreciate his opinion, so that when he says, before we've seen the movie, I don't like it, you walk into the movie expecting not to like it.
Yeah.
And he says he regrets that he did that because he did come to the realization, maybe I don't agree with it, but it's not Mark Hamill's job to decide how the movie goes.
Exactly.
So
I don't know. To everybody listening out there, if you haven't seen Star Wars The Last Jedi, I would totally recommend seeing it. It's not, as Nick said, it is kind of just filler. But, it's a Star Wars movie.
it's
That's
really,
what I like
really
about
good
it.
filler.
Yeah.
Still
It's really
great.
good filler.
Still great.
As a fan of anything, I'm always just happy to just get content within something I love.
Absolutely.
A lot of people weren't happy with the Hobbit movies. I loved them just because it's something. Given I had read the book, that's the only Lord of the Rings book I've read is the
Wow.
Hobbit. I
Cool.
could not. I had a really hard time reading the Lord of the Rings, but the Hobbit was much easier for me. But no, anytime something adds content and story to what I already love, I'm always down for it.
And I always tell people, I've probably said it on this show, I like stuff. Like
Stuff and things.
if I watch a movie, I like it. Like very, very rarely do I watch something and don't appreciate it if it has
Yeah.
even a little bit of value. Even really bad movies, and a lot of people do
I
that.
love bad movies.
A lot of people love bad movies, but it's like
So
even
funny.
if movies aren't, even if it's a movie that was supposed to be a good movie but ends up just being a bad movie, I still like. I still like it. I'm not the person to immediately jump to hate it.
People are shitting all over the new Netflix movie with Will Smith, Bright.
I want to watch that. Haven't seen it yet.
I watched it yesterday.
half the people have said that they love it.
I enjoyed it.
Right. It's like.
Is it the best thing I've ever seen? No. I enjoyed Will Smith though. Of course.
Guess what? I pay $10 a month for Netflix, and guess what? I bet you it's good enough to justify me having Netflix this month.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at it. You know what I watched this month? The Punisher, and I'm gonna watch Bright. Those two things are worth $10 to me.
Yep.
How did you like The Punisher?
I didn't finish it yet.
How far in are you?
I've got 2 episodes left. I've been slacking. I've been slacking because we got in on The Office,
The Office is great.
and
This is great.
Fair.
I've never watched The Office.
I haven't
my
either. I've
God.
watched bits and pieces.
So Jess was watching. It was New Year's. It was Christmas Eve, and Jess was watching because they've got categories like Christmas episodes.
Yep.
So she was literally just going through watching Christmas episodes of shows. But she admitted she hadn't even watched some of the shows. She's just watching Christmas episodes.
That's absolutely awesome.
She clicks The Office, and we watch it. And I've seen clips. I've seen maybe an episode, and
The memes.
I was all about it. Like, if you know me, it's so my sense of humor.
It's great.
So then next thing you know, we're
Episode
balls
1.
deep. We're balls deep
Yep.
in it now. So.
It's really good.
But I keep telling every night I tell myself, I'm like, I've only got 2 episodes left of The Punisher. I just need to go finish Punisher.
Dude,
right
do
now.
it because as soon as you get into that second to last the penultimate episode, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna finish
Yeah,
it.
I'm stoked on it.
That's how I get.
We watched. That's how it's always been. We have to watch 2, 3, 4 episodes at a time. So I'm pretty sure next time we put it on, we'll finish it.
Are you enjoying it so far?
I love it. I think that there's moments that are a little. He's just a little too much of an asshole. like just interacting with the other dude. I don't remember his name. Micro? Is that it?
Micro.
The way he interacts with him, like they're two like best friend brothers. Like they're just shitty. Like they're just fucking flat out shitty to each other, and it doesn't necessarily come out the way that you want. Sometimes it's just like, guys, like just ease up on it a little bit.
Is that kind of like Austin today? I'm coming over. No.
Yeah, I just commented and I said, "Did you get lost?" And he hasn't. Oh, did he respond? No, he didn't.
Damn.
I think he might have actually taken me seriously.
So I'm gonna segue us into this next beer because it's sitting in front of me and it's been a second and I'm ready to taste it. So this is the Mango Guppy from
smell it.
Pipeworks Brewing Company in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, I heard the Brews with Dudes crew was pretty excited to get some Pipeworks in them.
Pipeworks is one of my favorites.
We're gonna lay some pipe.
This is
that is a record for the longest it's taken us to make a dick joke. That was 30 minutes. We made it 30 minutes without a single dick joke.
Cheers.
And now we're laying pipe.
That's good.
wow.
That is good.
It's pretty light for an IPA.
It is.
Which it's
Interesting.
It's only 4.6% alcohol by volume, but this is a session IPA brewed with mango and honey, which would give it that sweet flavor that I'm tasting.
It's very sweet.
Yeah, for being an IPA, it definitely has that sweet aftertaste instead of that classic just bite you in the teeth.
Very little IBUs.
I didn't see the IBUs. Where's it at?
I'm not seeing it. I'm just stating it outright. It's not very bitter at all. I'm loving the can. And,
it is really cool.
Pipeworks is all about just ridiculously colorful artwork. It's called Mango Guppy. There's a guppy on the front. There's a skull next to him. Isn't that funny? There's skulls everywhere, all over beer.
Of course.
And then there's a treasure chest in the background. It looks like it's sitting on a pile of gold.
It's on the pile of gold.
But yeah, super colorful, reds and blues and yellows, and it's popping.
Guppy fins flowing everywhere.
I mean, just with the three beers that we've drank, if you see them sitting next to each other on the shelf, it pops at you.
Oh, definitely.
It's actually Pipeworks is the first beer I picked up while I was there.
It just jumps off the shelf at you.
I was walking towards the cases, and I was looking for not cold beer. Because I knew I had a 4.5 hour drive home.
Right.
So I was looking for stuff that was not stored cold. And Pipeworks was the only one I found that was not stored cold.
Damn.
So it was the colors of the can. I had walked past it and I went to look at another case and I turned around and I noticed that they had like 6 different types of brews there. All from Pipeworks on this one like showcase, and
I would have bought every single one.
Picked up a flat, and I took a couple of one out and put a bunch of the other ones in, and got like 4 or 5 different ones from Pipeworks.
My goodness!
You introduced me to Pipeworks when we went and saw BT Bam.
Yes, I did. We were at the Bottom Lounge, and they had several different ones.
That's awesome. On tap?
Yeah.
Yeah,
jealous.
and in cans and on tap. So
Jealous.
I've been after a couple weeks ago we had a fiasco with the R&D department, where they didn't give us any good information about what we were looking at. So I decided to take it upon myself to kind of look up these beers as we're talking about them and try to figure things out. So I just pulled up Pipeworks, and they've got, it looks like 9 cans, and they're just ridiculous. It's just it's so crazy looking at them. They're so colorful. It looks like they've got multiple fish beers. Passion Fruit Guppy.
I have that at home. That'll be on another episode.
That's a bird. Warbird Session Ale. Ninja vs. Unicorn.
I've had that. Yeah, you had me
Little
taste that.
Citra. Lizard King. Blood of the Unicorn. Close Encounters Black IPA. I mean, these are like I just said though. They if you see these on a shelf,
those are very colorful.
They pop out right at you.
I will say. So we're drinking the Mango Guppy. At home, I have the Ninja vs. Unicorn for another episode, and I'll probably bring over the Lizard King as well with that one.
Lizard King is good stuff.
They did have the Blood of the Unicorn, which is the hoppy red ale, and it just didn't didn't catch my attention compared to the other 4 that I got.
I'm not a fan of reds. I've noticed.
Yeah,
If it's described as a red, it's just and I can't necessarily attribute what flavor that is. I'm R&D department again. Anybody could just look it up. But every red beer that I've had, I'm not a fan of it.
I really, now seeing this though, I really wish they had the Close Encounters, because that black IPA sounds really freaking good.
Oh man, remember that white stout we had?
Yes,
It was like a clear stout.
man.
I think it was the Craft X box.
It was.
It had a stout that was like clear. It was like this, but it was a stout.
It
tasted
color was
like
actually
coffee.
The exact same. The color was almost the exact same, and we're talking about like a light golden yellow.
Ooh, that reminds me. It's almost time for the next Craft X
You got another
box.
one coming soon?
It's the first Monday of the month, but the first Monday is New Year's. So I bet you it'll
probably be
be
a couple days later.
the following, and we'll be ready for another Craft X box.
That'll be good.
That's
That'll
gonna
be
be
a really
fun.
good episode. The last one really blew me away with how good they all were.
Oh yeah, it was pretty much 2 stouts, 2 IPAs.
It was.
One of those IPAs was a double or an imperial,
That was like 13 or 12%.
and it was it didn't have any bite. It was like, oh, this is troublesome. I could drink 4 of these,
Without
not realizing
realizing.
it, and then get my mind blown.
Yep.
See, the thing that I want to say is, after looking at all of these different cans for the different logos for the different Pipeworks Brewing cans, I could see every single one of these being a tattoo.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, God,
And that's exactly what I like about these. Is they're super colorful. I would totally I would take Mango Guppy. I could put that on my back, and I would be okay with
It
that.
does actually say the artist name on the can, if you saw it, right next to
Is
the
it
skull.
called? Is it traditional?
Yeah, that's close.
The artwork that we're looking at here.
Very close to
absolutely right.
traditional tattoo.
That's what they would consider it.
See, I'm not familiar with
This
all
is,
the different styles of tattoos, really.
I mean, you got the traditional.
Journey into
You recognize
tattoos.
traditional tattoos, though.
Yeah.
It's stuff that looks like this.
Stuff that
very
you-
colorful, but very cartoonish.
Like Sailor,
art.
the Sailor Jerry stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
considered traditional.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. They actually do say the artist name.
This the person who did the design for Mango Guppy, his name is Jason Burke at Ink and Lead Designs, or maybe it's Ink and Lead, and I just had a little bit too much, but still, it's a tasty brew. It's a colorful can. I would buy this on a shelf, absolutely. And
If you've had too much, we got 2 doozies coming towards us.
trust me, back in my day, I used to have a couple PBRs. And
A couple.
You graduated from the PBRs in the past week, okay? In the
Yes,
past week or 2, you've graduated, and you're getting on to better beers.
We're getting on to a bit stronger stuff. I mean, you guys can imagine. I usually don't drink often. When I did drink was when I was, I don't want to say that it was before I was 21, but probably before I was 21. And usually it wasn't even I was never a beer person. I was always hard liquor. So it was just, hey, here's an entire 5th of Jaeger. I'm going to down that an entire night, forget everything, and just wake up.
Bad.
So here we go. We're about to go into the journey of AJ.
Yes, let's hear this.
Journey into
This could be
AJ.
its own podcast.
So how old are you, AJ?
I am 23.
Because what you're describing to me, if I'm not mistaken, is maybe 19, 20-year-old Nick. You get the alcohol.
We were getting
You drink.
handles of Captain.
You drink the alcohol until your body is repulsed at the word. Like you say,
yes.
Captain Morgan, and my body goes, no.
Oh my God.
That's me and
Never
Soko.
again.
And the Soko goes
Soko.
back to the
Soko.
OG Doom Room
And if
on
you guys
28th.
and you guys know me, it's not just one thing. It's vodka. That was the first.
Yeah.
Then Soko. Then Captain. Like there are 5 different liquors that I cannot drink anymore because I beat it into my system so hard. Jaeger is one of them.
I can't
Yes.
put my finger on the comedian, but there was a comedian who, during one of his bits, said, "I'm going to beat my alcohol addiction by drinking so much of one type of alcohol that you just can't stand it anymore, like we're talking about.
Right.
And so he continued on to say, I'm done with whiskey, I'm done with vodka, and I'm done with tequila. Next is beer, then gin. Like
And you're running out of options.
Yeah,
You're going to run out of options.
So where, like, anything, like, SoCo and Jaeger are mine. One, I don't like black licorice, so Jaeger's just out the door instantly. But SoCo, it was actually a January show at the original Doom Room, like Dick was just talking about, and someone handed me a flask that had SoCo in it. And you might remember this, Nick.
I vomit at the smell.
I do too usually. I hate pouring it at work. A lot of people order. I hate pouring it. But anyways, someone had handed me a flask, and of course, I'm gonna take whatever the fuck you give me. And I take a couple swigs, and sure enough, I'm like, "What's in here?" And they're like, "SoCo." Okay, bye.
I'm pretty much done.
I handed it back to them, and I actually think it was Erica.
McKenny?
Nick's, huh?
McKenny?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was Bales at the time.
Yeah, she's the one that
Yeah.
introduced it to me as
This
well.
was, God damn it, Erica!
Oh yeah. Well, she introduced it to me at the Hilltop Fortress,
Yep.
and I was like, okay, that's not bad, because that was when I just first started drinking. And then she introduced SoCo Lime to me, and I haven't had that since. But I feel like I would be able to maybe take that better than actual SoCo.
It was mid-January when this happened, though, and I
Sounds about
remember
right.
there was about as much snow on the ground as there is right now.
Sounds about
But
right.
it was still snowing, and you and Zach, Nick, came out to me, passed out on the porch next to a pile of puke, and I wasn't wearing a jacket or anything. I'm in my jeans and a t-shirt, and the snow is falling enough to where it's covering like a layer of me. And they had come outside and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I just need to stay here for a little bit.
That was...
And they tried to coerce me inside, and I said, nope, I'm staying here. And I got sick a couple more times, then rallied and came back in.
That was Weed Bee Lucifist Born Under Burden.
Yep.
It was.
Yep.
That was the show. Yep. I was
Sport.
fucked
It's
up.
like sports stats. You know, you're gonna remember sports stats for your favorite team for years. I sit there and you're like, it was mid-January of this one year. Let's see, mid-January. Yeah. It was these bands. Somber was supposed to play. Somber.
Yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah.
And instead of fixing the poster, we put a sticker of Born Under Burden over their name and took a picture of that. So instead of editing the image, we just put a sticker covering the band's name. There was one other band. It was Crosshammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that
Crosshammer.
show.
Yep. I was passed out on the porch
Yeah.
for at least a good like 30 minutes.
I think in my head at least, when I think of the original Doom Room, SoCo is synonymous.
Yeah.
Very
That
much
was
so.
We were all definitely into Southern Comfort.
I was done
at
with it
that
at that
time.
point. I turned it down a lot during those shows because it was prominent on those shows, and I turned it down because I would have ended up on the porch multiple nights.
That was when I was hanging out with Erica a lot. That's when I got my really badass Alex Gray tattoo. She was coming out to shows. We were drinking SoCo. I remember when Erica and I were working on my tattoo. I think it was the outline because, I mean, if you know Alex Gray, it's very intricate.
Yes.
So there was a whole session of just outlining this whole tattoo. That was gin and tonic. That's what that was. And I went in at like 11 o'clock at night, and we fucking just we were hammering gin and tonics, and then we would go tattoo for an hour, go back, slam a gin and tonic. And by the end of it, we were just laughing and screaming. Just, it was so much fun. I liked gin and tonic, but I never overdid gin. So gin is still good in my book. SoCo?
Okay.
No.
Gin turns me off in an instant.
It tastes like a Christmas tree.
that wintergreen smell.
I love
kills
it.
me.
I love it. I feel like I'm drinking a tree. It's interesting.
I'm really glad you guys brought up the old Doom Room, because I was actually wanting to tell a story earlier, and I feel like I've maybe told this story either on this show or on my own podcastrophe. But
I want to come up with real quick. I want to come up with like a little jingle. So then anytime we come up with a Doom Room story, we can just edit it in real quick. Just
okay,
Doom Room with Dick. And then we're just
There's
and we're
lots of
in.
those stories.
so
and we're in. Like, all right, so there's one time.
back then I only drank two things. Well,
Smirnoff
one of three
Ice.
things. Yes, Smirnoff Ice. Sometime I eventually graduated to Angry Orchard,
Even better.
and then SoCo.
Boo, better.
No.
But I remember after a point, I started playing this game where I'd bring over a case of Smirnoff Ice, and as soon as I was done with the bottle, I would find some place to hide the bottle.
Yeah, I remember that.
And Nick would be like, "God damn it, Dick!"
That was great. You found some really good hiding spots. Like on my shelves. Like I would wake up and it would
I'd be like, Timmy, where's a good spot in Nick's room to hide this?
Yeah. And I wake up in the morning and I fucking hit the alarm clock, and behind my picture frame there's a Smirnoff Ice. Like what the fuck? Where did this come? Was I so drunk that I drank a Smirnoff Ice?
Makes you question your reality.
Right. No. Dick was just getting it. That's
there
what
were
it
a
was.
few times where I was like, I have all this Smirnoff Ice stuff, and you're like, "Don't worry, Dick, I'll drink it."
I didn't.
That's all, Nick. I will say, I'll call you out. It's almost as bad as that Berry Weiss that you had a kick on.
Oh, I won't.
That line in Kugel Berry Weiss. Man.
I'm not gonna talk shit about I know that it was very sugary, but
I almost want to like bring some on for an episode and have you drink it again and see how you feel about it now.
just so you see me fucking
cringe at it. Because I remember
what I
like I could stomach it while we were hanging out, but I was like, man, this is just not for me at all.
It was a good 6 to 8 months of my life.
It was
I think
rough.
it was superseded by the 312. And once I hit 312, it was all uphill from there. There was nothing bad after 312. I don't remember honestly my first beer. Like a lot of people are able to remember the shitty beer. I don't know. I know that it was beer pong beer.
Yep.
I know that we would just
Whatever's cheap.
Yep, the cheapest thing that you could possibly get, and we would go in on that.
I'm gonna feel real bad for saying this. My first beer, Natural Ice.
That's not a bad thing. Natty Ice
kind of is.
Natty Ice is a typical
Naughty
though.
Ice.
Naughty.
Are we saying first beer or first alcohols?
We're talking about first beers.
First
Okay.
beer, yeah. 'Cause my
Hams.
first alcohol is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, first
Hams.
alcohols was vodka.
Mine
Mine was
was
Dark Eyes vodka. Oh god, it was rough.
Tequila.
So-
We did tequila.
Tequila.
Dude, no.
First time you were
no.
drunk was tequila.
Tequila. Oh, yes.
Thank you, Erica Bales, Erica McKinney. Erica, damn it, Erica.
she fucked us all up.
I hung out one night. I hung out with her. Well, first of all, she's the one I hung out with on my 21st birthday, and I remember leaning out her car, fucking puking on the side of her car. But then I remember, the night that she had me doing tequila shots, and I puked black. It was black.
Oh my god.
And I was scared for my life. I did what I believe to be is 4 to 5 shots in 30 minutes of tequila, and it just ruined me.
I would imagine.
It was relentless. I've since tequila to me is a caviar. It's every now and again with the right group of people, they're like, let's drink a shot of tequila. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Every now and again. It is never a go-to. It is never something I'm ever going to do more than one shot of. It's just something about tequila just whoops my ass.
I'm gonna call out right now. We all need to. Whoever is here, I want to be here for this one. We need to do a stuntman shot on an episode of Brews with Dudes.
Oh no.
Could you,
Do you
explain
guys-
to me what that is?
Does anybody know in the room?
I feel like I've heard it before, but
All
go
right,
ahead.
Stuntman shot. It's a general shot of tequila. You snort the salt, shoot the tequila, squeeze the lime in your eye, and then get slapped.
This sounds like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Do a shot? Just fuck me up, fam. Fuck me up.
Count
Let's
me
do
the
it.
fuck out of that.
It's okay. Like I said, we don't have you. All of you don't have to be here. I want to be here for that one.
Who are we going to get to do that?
Probably just me and you. It might be a solo episode.
I will do that. If
I like how he assumes that I'm going to do this
Yeah,
with
of
him.
course.
Hey,
I would
Maxon
say-
and Maxwell taking it to the max.
Okay. See, you say our catchphrase, and I don't have a choice. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
fair.
Maybe that can be another podcast, Maxon and Maxwell, and
I'm down with it.
we just go and do stupid fucking bullshit that you
Done.
don't need or want to do.
Done.
It's either that or like one of
Totally
you is
done.
doing the stupid stuff and the other one's just like, you're fucking dumb.
Just commentating.
I mean, there are some wild
commentary.
podcasts out there. Like, there's the We Suck at Everything podcast, where they literally just try something new every podcast, and like every episode's titled "We Suck at Blank." Like, we suck at pool.
That's a good way for
we
like,
suck at drinking bleach.
The viewers. That's a good way for the
No,
viewers to get their
Too far.
input.
Too far.
At expression.
I think we're about on to the next beer, though.
It is
Bring
time
it.
for the next beer.
I'm gonna let you guys chat while I get us the next beer.
I was gonna say while you're grabbing the next beer, I'll go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and bring out a little PSA to everybody at home.
All right.
Don't do tequila. Just don't drink it because okay, I'll tell you guys a story of what happened when I drank tequila. It started off with a little bit of Bacardi, and I remember I went outside of my apartment that I was living at for a while, and I went outside for a cigarette. And I turn around this corner, and there is a big black woman sitting in a chair staring at me. And I was pretty lit, so I was just like, how you doing? She's just like, I'm doing all right. I'm waiting for my boyfriend to get home. He's gone, blah, blah, blah. And, like, we start chatting, and then she's just like, we're going to do some shots of tequila. I'm like, sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Here we go.
About 3 shots in, I walk over to the gas station, pick up a pack of Newport Menthol 100s, which was not the cigarettes that I smoked. Walked home, knocked over my neighbor's moped, and spent about 2 hours trying to pick it up. Eventually gave up, and they said they saw me on the security cameras just sitting there waiting for the cops to arrive. And I remember none of it. I woke up the next day to a couple of cops saying, hey.
Wasn't this like 2 years ago?
This was 1 year ago, actually.
This was in recent memory.
Yep. This was not 15-year-old AJ getting drunk. This was 22-year-old AJ getting drunk.
I don't remember
Golden
like it was
years.
yesterday. I completely forgot it.
But it was a couple months ago.
I still actually have that dude's break bar from that I broke off. I kept it as a souvenir as to why I should never drink tequila.
I love that in your head you spent hours trying to fix it, but in reality it was just you sitting there on the porch.
It was
just
literally me. Just I was literally, and the thing is you guys got to remember.
I spent 2 hours trying to fix this thing.
It's like
dog, you spent 45 seconds.
There's
and then
that
you sat
episode.
down.
There's that episode of How I Met Your Mother where they get high as fuck at some like basketball or football game, and like it's an entire episode of them like walking around trying to find something or someone, and it's literally just a minute or two of their lives and they capture it all on like they show security footage
At
of
the
them
football
just
game.
walking back and forth going, oh my god, we're right back here.
Because they had eaten the sandwiches.
Yes.
They just ate a sandwich.
It was a football or a baseball game.
Yeah.
And they were going to get concession. Then they think that they're standing in line, but they're standing in front of the trash can.
Yeah,
or something.
and the security footage just shows them like just walking around in circles in the same exact like 15-foot space.
That right there, that is the epitome of what happened that night. That was it was a doozy, and I don't know. I can't wait to break another
black.
man's moped.
It smells so fucking good.
I'm gonna hate this.
You are,
No.
but it smells so fucking
By
good.
the way,
Tequila was my first drink as a 21-year-old. I didn't, and that was on St. Patty's Day. I turned 21 the previous November. So I did not want to drink when I turned 21.
absolutely.
It took me a minute to actually be like, fuck it. So St. Patty's Day, my now ex-father-in-law, he was like, drink a shot of tequila. I'm like, okay, I'll do one.
Just one.
And that's all I had.
And
Couple
that's enough.
months later, I decided to start drinking. So of course I go to the liquor store.
Good decision.
And I didn't drink much. It wasn't until later that November that I decided, okay, I'm getting fucking drunk.
Let's take this alcoholism to the next level.
Yes. And I was 22 at that point. But, okay, so a couple months after my first shot of tequila, my first actual alcohol, I went to the liquor store, I bought a bottle of Crown and a bottle of Sailor Jerry.
Oh no! Oh
Bad
no!
And I discovered one of my favorite drinks that I like to make, and it's not a strong drink
Crown
whatsoever.
Royal mixed with Sailor Jerry.
No.
Straight.
No,
Mixed with Smirnoff Ice.
I used to like.
Yes.
Oh God, I hadn't discovered Smirnoff Ice
On
yet.
the rocks.
No, okay, so I like Royal
Classy.
Butts. I haven't had Royal Butt in forever, so that's Buttershot and Crown Royal.
Yep.
And then the one I like to make, I like to call it Dr. Jerry, because it's a giant, like one of those like really thin Pilsner glasses, and it's like a shot of grenadine, a shot of Sailor Jerry, and then the rest Dr. Pepper. It's not strong at all, but it's delicious.
That sounds delicious. That also sounds like something a 14-year-old would drink.
Well, as you know, I didn't really start drinking. I didn't really start drinking until I started hanging out with you.
Age 14.
Here we are. Here we are drinking coffee stouts.
Here
We have
Rockin' coffee stout.
We stepped up from the doctor's concoction.
I hate my life.
Whoa.
That tastes like you're drinking cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
That tastes like cold brew.
Man,
That
that
tastes
is...
so fucking good.
That was really smooth.
I worked at a coffee shop for a very long time. I had a lot of cold brew back in my day. That tastes exactly like cold brew. I barely taste that alcohol.
So I will delve into this. Unfortunately, this is another 4 hands, so it is out of St. Louis, which was my fault. Sorry,
It's
guys.
okay. It's okay.
But still mighty tasty. This can, it still has that matte texture to it. It's
I love
not-
it. I love it.
It is really cool. I can't tell what it says above Moroccan though. What does anybody have any?
No.
No.
It looks
there's,
like
there's no
maybe-
indication.
Maybe I think it's Zellage. Maybe is
That
Zellage Moroccan or Moroccan?
What Zelllige? That does sound. That looks about right. Zellage Moroccan coffee style. Nick's grabbing the smart computer.
It actually kind of reminds me of a. It kind of reminds me of like this like 70s vibe from it with like the different patterns and the shapes and such.
The can is all orange with black accents. Y'all see when Nick posts a picture, but I'm seeing here now. It's brewed with coffee, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, cardamom, black pepper, and sea salt.
It's full of flavor.
This
It's
is
really good.
So good. Dick, do you like it not being a black coffee or a black stout person?
I'm not going to say I like it, but I'm going to say it was really smooth.
I will say that I liked it.
I
I'm
can
not
you can
much
pour
of a
some in
coffee
there if you
drinker.
want.
I can taste the pepper.
I can too.
It's nice. It's a nice flavor, though. That's the thing that I like about it. Is again, I'm not like an IPA or like. Well, this is a stout actually, and I probably will be the first person to ask this since we're on the subject already. What's the difference between like a stout, a lager, an IPA, some such so forth? I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna ask because you guys know way more about this than I do.
Once again, thank you for asking the impossible questions.
You're so welcome, Doctor.
I'm not as intellectual on this as Nick is, but I believe it comes down to more like the malts and the actual brewing process behind it, what hops you use, grain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. Jeez.
But it's a matter. I mean,
obviously.
more specifically, it's just exactly what you attribute to each kind of beer. If you're drinking a stout, you expect it to have a darker or a rich flavor. An India Pale Ale, you expect it to be lighter or hoppy,
bitter.
And I mean, I'm gonna have to spend more time in the R&D department and to give you like really, really specific examples.
That fucking R&D department.
But I want to quickly confirm that it is Zellage.
Good.
It is Zellage.
Good on you, AJ.
So.
Oh.
Zellage Moroccan coffee stout, and my God, this is.
I really like
delicious.
the promo that they put out for it when it first came out.
Oh, that is really cool.
The beer can is covered by all the different things that were involved in it.
It looks like a coffee zen garden.
And they're trying to play off of the can that they use. It's supposed to be a very kind of a native
the promo is all of the stuff that they used.
That's what I'm saying.
That's ginger root. That's
what I'm
nutmeg,
saying.
That's cinnamon. Or what?
But they did it. Just look at that. Look at the can. They did it. They tried to put the ingredients in the shapes that they were using for the can. So it was a very thorough.
Coffee beans. We got the cinnamon, the ginger. We see the nutmeg in there.
It's a very thorough marketing campaign by Four Hands.
Anybody familiar with cardamom?
I have no idea what cardamom is.
I'm gonna go contact that R&D department and find out what cardamom is.
Supercomputers. Now this is really good. When was this? I'm trying to figure out when this picture was actually posted. October 23rd. So this is actually fairly new. It's only been around for a couple months. So
I wonder what makes it Moroccan in their eyes.
Apparently, cardamom, also known as cardamom or cardamom, is a spice made from the seeds of several plants in the genera Alateria and amomum. And the family, oh my God, there's a lot of big words that do not sound right.
Are any of those things based in Morocco?
It's based in the Indian subcontinent, Bhutan, Indonesia, and Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah, science, bitch.
I wonder
And
if they used
18 calories for a tablespoon.
I wonder if it depends on where they got their actual coffee beans from.
That is a good point, Brett. That's a good point. That might be where the coffee came from.
So Nick has just shown me a picture of a peanut butter chocolate milk stout from Four Hands called Absence of Light, which sounds amazing. And then what was the last one you had just showed me? It was the porter.
I don't remember. Looking on these pages, I'll see like other beers that they've put out, and I'll just shove it in everyone else's faces so we don't get to talk about it.
I meant to bring it up.
Oh, the Mud Monster.
Yes.
Mud Monster. Peanut butter something or another.
I don't know if I don't think that was a peanut butter one. This one was the peanut butter. Look up the Mud Monster again real quick. But that peanut butter stout looks really good. I've really enjoyed all the brews we've had so far.
Yeah, we're killing it. Honestly, these are really, really good beers.
I'm glad with my haul.
Let's give a quick shout out to Brett for supplying us with the entire episode's worth of beers.
I will toast to that. Thank you, Brett, for the brews.
Mic clap.
Now you gotta do the
And
one
the clipping
clap.
begins.
Man, our editor is gonna hate us. Oh wait. Ooh, super Flare India Pale Ale. That's another one on their page. That looks amazing.
For reasons I will explain later.
Nick, we're gonna have to take a trip to St. Louis.
Yep.
Like
St. Louis is fun.
We're gonna have to find like a concert or something.
St. Louis is a lot of fun.
Oh, that won't be hard. That won't be
To
hard.
where we can go see a great show. Maybe get a couple of the bros to go in and get a cheap hotel or something for the night. See a great show. Get some great beer.
I don't think we have talked on the show about our next adventure.
The one coming up tomorrow.
No, we did bring up. Tomorrow we're going to 450 again to get the Super Nugget Bros.
You did bring that up. Sorry.
But we are in February. Brett and I and our friend Chris Piot are going to see Protest the Hero.
Yes.
It's
It's their second date.
It's their second date, and it's their 10-year anniversary of their album Fortress.
I am not going to lie. Pretty jealous about Protest the Hero. Brett actually introduced me to that band, and I was just like, "Oh, these guys are really good." And he just told me, "Yeah, Nick and I are gonna go see them," and I was just like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But damn it, yeah, that was. I mean, it was pretty good beer. I really like that beer. This coffee stout is pretty tasty. It's also kicking my ass.
I'm not a big fan of the spice.
It does kind of have a little bit of spice.
It's a little too spicy for me, but there is so much flavor going on. I can definitely taste the cinnamon, definitely taste the coffee. But I made a pepper beer, the Ghost Pepper beer.
Yeah,
and
it's a doozy.
It is
never
an
had any of
ass
that.
kicker. It is so spicy. It's like biting a pepper. You drink it and you're like, oh no, what have I done?
You can't have more than a half pint.
No,
Like,
I've never had
If you
it.
drink a half pint, you're satisfied, and
So
even
you're
by the
saying-
end of it,
I don't mean to interrupt
right.
you, but so you're saying that nobody has anybody had more than half pint?
No one's drank a whole bottle to my knowledge because we put I think 2 or 3 ghost peppers in it, and it's just an ass kicker.
I challenge this.
I mean, you could probably
put one in the fridge.
do it. I could
Go
do
ahead.
it. Like, it's not like, okay, I love spicy food. I'm a big spicy food guy. So this beer, like, it wasn't overly spicy for me, Nick, but it had that kick.
It's a huge
It
kick.
had that kick, and I would not. The beer was great, and I wish we could drink some right now, but I would not want to drink a full pint because by the end of it, your stomach is going to hate you. No matter what.
It's so full. It's a very full beer. You seriously just need to take a shot's worth of it to get
that feeling.
It goes down your throat and it lines your throat
Yep.
and it hits your stomach and it fills your stomach. It's powerful. I remember the first, I'll call it negative review I ever got of one of our beers. We're at it was LaffyCon.
Yeah.
and we had a booth set up, and someone walked up and tried it, and they come back about 20 minutes later, and they're like, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know that was, first of all, the worst beer I've ever drank, and it's arguably the worst thing that's ever been in my mouth."
Oh, ouch.
You know, okay, so speaking of
like, cool.
LaFiCon, you came on stage during the Journey into Comics live recording, and that was one of the beers you brought up.
Yeah,
and Nate loved it.
I like it. I really like it.
Nate loved it.
I really
gave
liked
it a
it.
try. It wasn't bad.
I refer to
It's
it as
a splitting beer.
It's a novelty beer.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're not going to drink multiple bottles of this stuff. You know,
No.
it's a thing you tell your buddy. You're like, dude, I got this beer that's got ghost peppers in it. Want to split it?
Yeah.
That's what it is to me. I like making beers like that.
It's not a beer. It's not a beer where you go, "We're getting fucked up."
It is not for the fainted heart. It is a mean one.
It was decent though. Yeah, I liked it.
I definitely dig it.
Real quick, not to get too jumpy between topics and stuff like that, because I can be like that sometimes.
Just
but,
jump off the platform. We're
right,
going.
immediately, just dive, swan dive.
We're done.
But
We're done. We're done
how
with the
much,
ghost pepper.
How much does the Super Nugget Bros cost? When you
I
guys...
believe it's going to be somewhere near $18 for a 4-pack of 16 ounces. But
So
that is... Yes, you can definitely give me money. The plan is that's going to be the beer for New Year's. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy probably a case of it. And then that and the Johnny Walker Blue are going to be our drinkers for the night.
Because I would totally like. I mean, okay. Nobody listening to this can see it, but I'm wearing a Super Mario Bros. Shirt, and
Yes.
I'm gonna be wearing this when I'm drinking that Super Nugget Bros.
Oh, yeah, dude. It looks...
and I'm gonna enjoy it.
I think it's a double dry hopped IPA. I think that's what it is. And it just looks amazing. It's gonna be really, really awesome.
I gotta say, now that I walked away from my mic and didn't drink this beer for a second, I definitely have the residuals of that black pepper spice behind it.
It's hitting my palate really hard.
I'm definitely noticing
in
it.
the final couple drinks. I'm like,
Exactly. I was gonna say as I'm hitting the corner of my glass, like just got down to the very last bit. You can definitely tell there's a lot of pepper to it, but it's still. I don't know. I still really enjoy this beer.
This is good.
This is a beer that I would go out and like purchase myself and be like, yeah, I just got off work, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna drink a beer before I go to bed.
This one would put you to sleep. In fact, the next one is going to put us to sleep.
I don't
joy.
think I could drink more than a can of this. I know that we split the can between two people, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with the half that I got. I don't know if I could drink much more than that of this at a time.
I could totally understand that.
I could probably put down 2. I don't think I would want to put down 2.
I would not.
I'm satisfied with 1. I had one beer at the restaurant we ate at. Unfortunately, Texas Roadhouse in Illinois. They had an oatmeal stout on tap, and by gad, I can't remember what the name of it was. But right after we left Texas Roadhouse, I had went to try and find this beer as well, and I couldn't find it. But it was mighty tasty. It was a good stout.
A good stout at a Texas Roadhouse.
It was local to the St. Louis, Illinois region.
That's cool.
So they had a couple different locals on tap, but definitely couldn't find it, and I wanted to because I ended up drinking 2 talls of it, and by the end I was so full.
Feeling full.
I'd smashed some prime rib and drank 2 tall beers.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It paired so well with that prime rib, though. I would take a bite, take a drink, take a bite, take a drink. Like, it just mixed so well.
A couple of the forehands that we've been drinking specifically say to eat
Grilled beef.
with grilled beef.
Yeah.
I like that. I like when they tell you what you should pair things with.
When I was in St. Louis and I did the Budweiser beer school, they specifically told you things like each beer that we tried would go well with.
You went to a Budweiser beer
piss.
school?
Yeah.
It would go well with piss.
Well,
Piss
no.
was good.
First of all, Budweiser wasn't even any of the beers that we had,
Really?
but it was. I can't even remember.
Elysium?
Obviously, they had Bud Light.
Did they have any Elysian there?
They didn't have
They had it
Budweiser.
there, but it wasn't part of the beer school.
Because Budweiser owns Elysian.
Yeah, they do.
So-
They also own Kona or something like that. I can't remember. This was earlier. This is early July, so I don't remember. But no, it was a fun experience because I got to learn a little bit more about pouring. I got to learn a little bit about the different glasses, which is very important.
Which makes a fucking difference, man.
I was just gonna say everything that I've learned about pouring came from Brett right here. He's taught me pretty much everything that I've needed to know about drinking.
Yeah.
So being a bartender,
Absolutely.
most bartenders focus on not having any foam, as they like to call
head.
it, with the beer. Or as a connoisseur, it's head.
Yeah.
The beer has to have head.
Yes, it does.
Another thing
Because
is
the head has a little bit of aroma in it, correct?
well, it holds in the aroma.
Yeah.
So while you're drinking it the entire time, you want there to be at least an inch of head, pretty much. Also, the carbonation within the beer, if you try and pair beer with food and you pour that beer and not release any of the carbonation, that carbonation gets agitated within your stomach
Yeah.
and will cause indigestion.
They
stuff
explain
like
that at the beer school.
Exactly. So
they
you have
explained-
to pour hard.
Yeah, they explained all kinds of things like the different types of pours for different types of beers. They explained that you gotta swirl it around a bit, get the foam up on top, and then you
Take
can
a couple drinks, swirl it,
sniff.
Yep.
They explained like how each glass is designed for the different aromas. And all that,
Actually,
and it was really cool.
I was at DT Kirby's last night, and I asked the guy bartending, because he had I got a snifter, as they call it, of Space Cowboy from People's Brewing Company. And I asked the guy, I was like, do you sell these glasses? Because at my place of work, Grindstone Charlie's, come in, get some food. At my place of work, we actually
Excellent food.
sell our bar glasses. If you want to buy a pint glass or a Pilsner glass, you can. So I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I want to buy this glass because it's Daredevil Brewing, which I've had a couple good brews from there. And it's a snifter, and I don't have one of those yet. And he's like, no, we don't. And I had just finished my beer. So he took the glass, and he washed it, and he brought it back to me. He's like, hey, man, check out this really clean glass that never had beer in it. And I'm like, oh, sweet. And right in front of him, I grabbed it and stuffed it in my pocket. And it's at my house right now.
Yeah.
That's his whole... He cleaned it and gave it to me. And was like, here, man,
like this
if you
can.
get pulled over, like, this glass never had beer in it.
I'm probably not gonna like the beer.
Like this. This is
Go
darker
ahead-
than the last, I'm sure.
Go ahead and just give me like a sample size of this because I
That's
gotta
fine.
get driving.
This
was gonna say.
this is the one. This is Death's Tar from Revolution Brewing Company.
I love the can though. You know,
This can is
I love
intimidating.
Revolution. Their artwork has always been awesome.
This can is intimidating. The top of the can is black.
Yes.
Okay, most cans.
Oh my god.
Most cans are silver on top. This
so-
can is black and red and so intimidating.
So the liquid within is just straight black, and then the foam is a very, very dark
Brown.
gold.
I will say this: I don't think I've ever seen a darker beer in my entire life.
This reminds me of
The only difference between this beer and Midnight is 11:59.
This reminds me of the oil, whatever oil beer from Three Floyds that I had last weekend.
The oil beer. I'm thinking you're not talking.
It's rotating down at Chumley's right now.
It's definitely not. God damn it! What am I thinking of? Dark Lord.
No, it's not Dark Lord. I'll look it up.
So if we find Dark Lord on tap, we'll kill that cake.
Yeah.
Between me and you.
Whatever fucking loser puts Dark Lord on tap, they're fucking up. I know friends, guys. This might sound absurd. I bet there's people who'd pay $500 for a keg, $600 for a keg of Dark Lord.
Easily.
Easily.
More. Dude.
Easily.
Dude,
$600?
dude,
How much cans
okay.
usually go for?
I'm saying you could get okay, if you wanted to get Three Floyds on tap like the Zombie does,
Maybe $150.
you're gonna be paying $500 to $600.
No. I don't know about that.
Maybe it's the.
But okay, so let's
beer.
work from what we know. I bought kegs of garbage, Keystone,
Right.
for $60, $70.
That's
I think
with
I bought
deposit included, or
no.
minus the
We're just
deposit?
talking. We're just talking the keg, and then I think I got 312 one time.
Yep, I remember
for
that.
like 90.
Okay.
But I know I've talked to people. I've worked at a lot of bars, booking shows and stuff, and something tells me something like a Two Hearted is maybe it's less than 200.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, but but yeah, Dark Lord. I bet you could pay $1,000 for a keg.
I'm not surprised by that.
I bet it would be insane because we're talking. Okay, tickets for Dark Lord Day are $200 a piece.
I thought they were $115.
They're $200.
They've gone up?
They're $200 a piece, and that gets you, I think, 5 bottles. So we're talking $40 for a bomber.
22 ounces for $40.
Yes, that is the deal.
That is almost 2 beers for $40.
Insanity.
That's fucking
So
ridiculous.
if a keg's got a regular keg's got what? Come on, we're smart.
Between 200-300 pours.
So we're talking money.
Yeah.
Money.
I think so
$20 a pour and then $300 a pour. We're talking like $2,000 a keg.
Yep.
For Dark Lord. Does that make sense? I don't know.
So I do not know the actual pricing on it, but when I talked to my boss, when I first started bartending at my place of work, and I talked to my boss about getting 3 Floyds, I told her, get Zombie Dust if you can. And so she contacted them and said, this is what we want. And they said there are 150 other businesses within our area trying to get that keg of Zombie Dust.
Right.
She could have paid $800 to move her name to the top of the list.
Damn.
And then still bought the keg at the original price.
I think the way that and I might be wrong, and God, I hope this doesn't fuck anyone in the long run. I think one of the bars that I book at, the guy that gets 3 Floyds just drives up there.
Really?
When they say we're releasing Zombie Dust, he goes and buys several cases because that's the only way he's gonna get it.
And he did have it last time we were there.
That's the
Yes, he
only
did.
way. That's
And
the only way he can get
I
it.
bought the shit out of it.
I think I bought 4 Zombie Dust.
I
at it.
had 6 or 7 that
And
night.
we're not. You guys have heard. We're not some amateur beer drinkers that are drinking. Like, oh, these guys are drinking Zombie Dust. It's great for them. Yeah, right. You're right. Zombie Dust isn't the greatest beer in the world. But when you put it up to the average bar's lineup of beers, Zombie Dust wins every time.
We were buying it at $4 a bottle.
It was great.
Holy shit.
I'm
What's that,
really loving-
24. Yeah, you're
going
buying
through-
cases for $40.
I'm going through
You
the
can
list of
sell
names
bottles for $4 a
of
piece
3 Floyds.
and make more than 100% profit.
Yep. And I'm going to pay it. I'm going to pay it
$4
because I fucking love it.
$4 for 12 ounces, and no matter what the
Done.
fuck I'm buying is good.
Done.
I'm totally down.
I'm going through the
if I
names
may.
of 3 Floyds, sorry. And I'm just loving the names. One was Stay in School, one's Kill Your Boss.
I need to kill your boss.
Quit hitting
dude.
yourself.
I need some kill your
These
boss.
have to-
knee.
let me see these.
Hold on, Crunk Monk.
These have to be limited releases.
This is their entire list.
Before we get into that, how
Oh,
about
my
we
Takai.
toast
got
and
to-
take a swig of this
Busy
real
boys.
that stuff.
Real quick,
Gentlemen, we're all talking a whole hell of a lot. We need to take turns.
I've been ready for this beer for 2 weeks.
So we're going to drink it. Brett, then tell us what you got to say about it.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow, there's the bourbon.
I
Yep.
had to hold that in my mouth for a minute because that was so fucking tasty.
I get some coconut. Is there any coconut in this?
Yeah.
I did not taste coconut, and I hate coconut. I feel like I would taste it if I did.
I don't like it, first of all, but it is tasty. Wow. Holy
you, Dick.
shit.
That's an ass kicker.
That is an ass kicker.
Witness
So-
the firepower of this fully operational, barrel-aged Imperial Oatmeal Stout, brewed with English specialty malts and the addition of flaked and malted oats to create a rich, chocolatey profile and silky mouthfeel that cloaks in considerable strength. The American oak barrels continue to build layers of complexity, reminiscent of vanilla, toasted coconut, and caramel candy after aging this dark menace a full 12 months.
This is something when I was at the store, And I will say, even though Revolution is from Chicago, I bought this in Lafayette, Indiana. Here. It's $24 a 4-pack, guys.
Yeah.
It's
A
fucking
4-pack, $6 a beer.
$6 for a 12-ounce can of beer. But I'm telling you, this can is intimidating. I've never seen the top, like the full can is pretty much black.
Yeah, it's mean.
It's got the red rising sun behind it. We're gonna continue with the skull theme. It's got the skeleton carrying the Revolution flag.
It's fucking scary looking.
No,
Can we just admit that's what it looks like? It's a scary
tastes
looking
scary.
can.
This
Yeah, it's just it's mean. When you
had
see
not-
it, you're like, I don't know if I should touch this.
So I will say, like, it had been sitting in my fridge, in the actual case until today. It's been in there for, Nick, I'd probably say about 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks. I opened it, and as soon as I pulled it out and I saw that the top of the can was black, I was afraid.
Yeah, this is mean.
This is...
I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but damn, this Dongo got it. It is just tar. It is black. It is.
I don't like it, but it does taste good. To an
That's-
extent, like
Nick just
as weird as that sounds to say.
That's your best description ever. I don't like it, but I do like it. Like, it is an ass kicker. You taste it and you get the bourbon in your mouth, and you're like, "Ooh, that's strong," but ooh, it's kind of good at the same time.
This doozy is 14.8% alcohol by volume.
So I got to drive home and then pick up a mic and mic stand and cable and all that, and then drive all the way back to this side of town. As soon as we're done with this, by the way, and I'm gonna be fucked up by the time I get over
You'll
to.
be good.
all that I can say about drinking this beer right here is I would see this can if like we were having a party and like somebody was just like, "Hey man," pulls up a 4-pack of Death Star. I would look at him and be like, "Oh no, but oh yes."
I want it, but at the same time, I don't want to black out and have to
This
Uber
is-
home.
Death's Tar, DETHS, tar. And oh my god, I like when you read the description, Nick. It talks about the silky mouthfeel. It leaves that lingering flavor in your
It
mouth,
does.
like
The
you're
thing-
constantly drinking it.
It's the bourbon. It's like
Yeah.
the thing that it's not the beer doesn't
Bourbon
linger.
stands way out.
The beer doesn't linger. It's the bourbon that lingers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So we made it. We're pretty deep into this episode. We're $1.20 in. So
Shit.
It's about time. We've been drinking hard. It's about time to do our roundup. Does anybody know what their favorite beer of the day was? Does anybody need to think about it a little bit?
I've got
I know
mine.
exactly what
All
mine
right.
would be.
AJ, newcomer. Let's see what you got to say. This is your second. Is it your second or third time?
Second
episode.
time.
Second
That's
time.
pretty new.
So,
Newcomer to beer, not
apprentice beer drinker.
Not newcomer to Brews with Dudes, but newcomer to beer
Newcomer
in general.
to beer in general. I would honestly have to say this Zellage Moroccan coffee stout was my favorite.
Wow.
I'm really surprised by that.
It's
Okay.
seriously, because like I think the reason why I liked it so much was just because of like, I mean, first off, can design, you know, it would probably all have to go towards, you know, Guppy, but you know, with the Zellage, like just the taste, the feel, like it was. I did not taste alcohol at all, but I could definitely tell after drinking it, I was like, "Whew, we're in for a ride now,
It is-
boys."
it is
We
the
should.
highest-
You're making me feel like we should come up with like a worksheet that as we're drinking the beers and we have categories like the artwork, the mouthfeel, and you can specifically see like because you got a good point, and I feel like for the most part we usually. You know, we always bring up the artwork, but when we're coming to our favorite choices, we always give it to taste.
Yeah, of course.
I like the idea of coming up with an all-encompassing, like, you know, these are the 4 or 5 things that I'm looking at with this beer. That's good. I agree.
that.
I definitely agree. I don't know what my favorite beer is, but I'll agree. Like, artwork is totally different from like favorite beer per se.
Destill's pretty boring. Destihl is the most the sour we had is the most boring can we had, and I will say, since I don't have the others with me, the other sour that they have and the coffee stout that I have from them, the can design is exactly the same for every brew. It's exactly the same.
Man.
It's just
It's
different
Rheingeist.
colors.
Rheingeist.
It is the Rheingeist
mentality. The Rheingeist mentality. Use the
Yes.
exact same pattern for every single beer.
Absolutely.
And I get it.
Change the colors, change the name. You're good.
Right. Interesting. We've got all cans today.
We do.
I don't know how often we do that. My point was being Three Floyds. I love that Three Floyds has the same bottle cap.
Yeah.
They might.
Yes,
They have
but they
similar.
always have different artwork.
They have similar styles with the artwork, but the artwork's always different. But the bottle
As soon
caps.
as you see that bottle cap, you know it's Three Floyds.
You know, and it's quality.
Yep.
You see the bottle cap, and you know for sure that that's going to be a good beer. So, all right, Brett. So you started to touch on it.
I want to go last.
You want to go
I want
last?
to go last. Go to Dick.
All right, Dick. You got a breakdown.
My favorite would probably be the Mango Guppy,
Good pick.
Nice.
followed by Snake
Absolutely.
Oil. I mean,
Nice.
and these are just you knew what you're gonna get when you asked me.
Right.
We all know.
Yeah.
Then the sour, the wild sour was pretty good.
So you're straight. You're going to give both the dark beers end of the spectrum.
I expected
I will
it.
say I like Death Star better than the Zellage.
Really? See, that's pretty surprising.
If
'cause
we're
this one
going
is
off
heavy.
of artwork, however, I'm pretty split between Death Star and Snake Oil. I love the matte finish of the Snake Oil
Yeah.
can.
Absolutely.
And then the Death Star, I love the color scheme. I love the actual artwork, the black, that
It's all
fucking
black and
menacing
red.
black
It's nothing
with the
but black
with the
and
red
red.
coming over. That's my favorite color scheme is red on black.
Yep.
So
Which the Snake Oil does kind of have, but it's
It
more of
does.
like it's more of a maroon and black.
it is, and then but the yellow comes out, the gold,
It does,
the
it
gold
does.
and brown yellow. But like I said, I love matte finishes are fucking
Sexy.
fire.
That's my-
as the kids are saying.
My
it.
status. That's what I like. That's what I like. That matte finish. I feel like there are so many different factors in deciding the favorite. Like if it
We have
was
a lot of variety.
if it was something that I want to share with my friends that are coming over for a special occasion, I would probably bust out the Death Star because it's so full of different flavors. But I would probably, I guess the way that I gauge my choice is by drinkability in terms of I could drink one Death Star. I can't drink 4 Death
I could
Stars.
drink one sample of Death Star.
You know what I can drink 4 of? Mango Guppy.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm probably, I guess my overall ruling is going to be Mango Guppy number 1, Death Star number 2. I like sours. Wild's going to go at the bottom, maybe next to the Zellage because I'm not getting over the pepper. The pepper was too much on that. So I think we're going to go Guppy, Death Star, Snake Oil, Zellage, and then we'll finish off with the sour. No offense, and seriously, I loved every beer. Every single beer was awesome. We've definitely had the episodes where we drink it and we're like, nope, I hate that beer. I just don't like that. I did enjoy every single one of these beers. The sour, the Destihl just didn't stick out to me as much as some of the other sours that I've had. The Zellage, too much pepper. Snake Oil, too bland. I'm just talking shit. I don't mean that. I would have voted for the Snake Oil if it had more of a bite. Mango Guppy was super sessionable and flavorful, and the Death Star just mean.
I just finished mine and wow.
So
Yeah,
it's like a bully on a school playground almost. Like it just kicks your ass.
It does.
The can looks like a bully.
he's pushing us down. He's pushing us down into the
They
dirt.
took all my lunch money. Like I'm gonna have to go buy more.
So I'm gonna agree with a lot of what you said, Nick. I will start off by saying the only reason I bought 2 sour beers is because I know that you've expressed some interest in them.
I definitely am down for the sours.
But it was probably bottom of the totem pole for me. It's good. It's good. It tastes great.
It's all good.
But
It's
you
all
can't-
good.
You can't have more than a couple sips or otherwise you're just gonna feel like shit.
It's
and you're not gonna be
overpowering.
drunk.
It's
Right.
overpowering, and
Right.
it's. I'm not saying that it is sugary, but it gives you the feeling of
impression.
sugary.
Yeah.
I can't drink the whole thing because it's gonna beat me up on my stomach. So
So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, man. I'm a whiskey and bourbon and Scotch lover. So Death's Tar.
Death's Tar, really?
Death's Tar, number one. Death's Tar is number one.
It seems like a beer that you would drink. It seems like an absolute beer that you would drink.
But I agree with Nick. I would not drink more than one because it's just too much.
It is.
It comes down to that point where I drink Scotch on the rocks. So
you like that? You like that hit to the mouth,
right? But you also can't drink too much because otherwise you're just gonna be way fucked up,
and that ain't good.
This gives me that same feeling. The biggest thing, where it comes back to what a lot of us have brought up, is the artwork. This can intimidates me.
It is
menacing as fuck.
That's a good word.
When I looked at it's the top of the can. The top of the can is black. Okay? Every other can that I've ever seen is silver. The top of this can, they have made black. And that scared me when I saw it.
It is a scary beer. It looks intimidating, and then you put it in your mouth, and
it tastes just as intimidating.
You wish that you had someone there to hold you.
Yep. So
honestly,
I would say Death's Tar is number one. Number two, it was probably a tie between the Mango Guppy and the Zellage. Mostly because I've just started getting into the darker beers and the stouts. So the Zellage really stuck out to me. But after I stopped drinking it, I did get that black pepper and only black pepper taste.
Permeates.
You tasted everything when you drank it, but afterwards you only tasted black pepper.
Especially when the more you drink.
Exactly.
Like it really took it took 4 or 5 drinks for it to just be like, I was drinking liquid pepper, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't know about this.
So number one, Death's Tar. Number two is tied with Zellage and the Mango Guppy because I really like mango. It had a really good flavor to it. The snake oil fell a little short in third there because it didn't have that bite I looked for in a classic IPA. Two Hearted is a classic IPA, but it still has that bite.
I either want a bite or a burst of flavor.
And it didn't have either.
That's what I need in my IPAs.
Didn't have
a bite
either.
or a burst.
I look for the
good.
crisp.
So me being me, the sour is in last because it's not my personal favorite. I more than less bought it for the fact that the group really has delved into sour. So it's something I wanted to bring that was out of my normality. I would never normally buy a sour beer, but I wanted it for this occasion because we got a great variety of everything.
That's what I wanted to. What I wanted to give you credit for.
It was hard.
We've got a little bit of everything.
I'll say I have enough beer in my fridge to do another episode of Illinois beer with not the same beers we tried.
Illinois/St. Louis.
Of course, yes. That's my fault.
It's okay.
So I will say, like, it was hard. I'm sitting there with the box in my hand. I'm like, what am I gonna take today? And it was really hard picking out which beers, but I think this offered such a great variety. We had the lights, we had the darks, we had a sour. You know, it really did come down to the tasting was not all the same.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's what we try to. That's what we try to go for. You're definitely a veteran to the show, so you understand that we're trying to. I love it. I love it the most when we go on and have all different beers. Like every single one is totally different. This was pretty close. Yeah, the coffees were a little the same.
We had two stouts, 2 IPAs.
We might have messed up in our timing. Like we did both stouts right after another, so we were. We went down the rabbit hole and we were falling down like back first, and then by the end of the episode we're going head first. Like that's what we were doing.
The reason for that is I kind of picked the order that we were doing it in, if we did the Zellage before we did either the snake oil or the mango guppy, we would not have even been able to taste the snake oil or the mango guppy because they are much lighter.
We would have needed a commercial break to cleanse our palates,
Exactly.
which we've not done yet. Maybe that's a thing we're going to have to incorporate is
We
commercial
might.
breaks.
I mean, it's
not a
not
bad
a
idea.
bad idea at all.
It's not a bad idea.
I would
not a
not
bad
object to commercial breaks. that's all
Because the
I'm saying.
Zellage did stick around in my mouth while I was drinking the Death's Tar.
So it looks like we had a hell of an episode.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy with what we've got.
If I may, I don't want to interrupt anybody. I know. I apologize. But real quick, before we end this episode, there's one thing that I wanted to do. Is the last episode that I was on, I promised that I was going to get drunk and tell a joke. So I want to tell a joke real quick.
It better be a good one, AJ.
It seriously
has-
better be.
8 arms and an IQ of 60. 4 guys drinking Smirnoff Ice and watching a football game.
Cool.
That wasn't the best joke I've ever heard.
But that joke made me picture 6 dicks in a room, and by that I mean dick.
Hey.
He has holograms of himself drinking Smirnoff Ice together.
You know what I have
watching
to
a
say to
football
that,
game.
Brett?
Okay.
You know what I have to say to that, Brett? Yee.
I'm going to take that yee and I'm going to just drop the conversation into the finale. We're done. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to Brett for providing all the awesome
thank
beers.
you, sir.
Hell yes.
I think we're going to have to consider this part 1. This is part 1
It is.
of Brett's Christmas beer journey.
We'll do a part 2.
So we'll do episode 13. Ooh, unlucky 13 is going to be part 2 of the Brett Christmas series. Thank you, AJ, for coming back once again.
Hey, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's been fun hanging out with you. Not only when we're doing this, but when we're going down to drink at the bar. It's fun.
Absolutely.
It's fun watching you try to decide to drink different beer instead of just drinking fucking shitty PBRs. Anyway,
No, Dos Equis. Dos Equis. That's
Thank
it.
you. Dr. Dongo, for coming once again.
Of course.
It's always fun to have your
The
presence.
Godfather. One of the Godfathers.
Thank you to the Journey into Comics Network for hosting us, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone. You guys fucking rule. Thank you to everyone who is just on the network. I was just telling Dr. Dongo that I was getting ready to post something that said, like, I'm looking for new podcasts to listen to. And then I was like, holy shit, how dare I do that before I've listened to the other 9 shows on my network, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time listening to the other network shows, and I'm going to do it right now. And Dongo, don't say anything to anybody, but I'm going to issue the challenge. Like, I said it, I think, on Drunkaster. I want to be on the Poor Report, and I want to talk to him about just because it's all politics.
Yep.
I said that to Nate last night.
We've got a show that's all politics, and I like the way the guy talks, but I've never
Don't agree sometimes.
Not that I don't agree, but I've just never heard him talking with someone else, and I love political back and forth. Like, because to me, the only thing you need to do with somebody in terms of that is to talk. Like, you can sit on the internet, and talk shit all day, but if I'm standing right in front of
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge it.
you are less likely to just talk shit, ignore, and just say blatantly racist or xenophobic shit. Like, if I'm sitting there and I'm calling you out on it, and he's not like that, for the
No,
record.
he is not.
He's not like that, but I think that, and he's probably already heard this, it would be super cool for his show to have alternate perspectives. Just to have people to talk to. And I want that really bad. I also want to get on literature, because I love... literature, because I love reading, and it would be fun. It'd be fun to talk with Joanne and just be like, can you go read this book so we can talk about it? Like, I think that we're almost to
Guarantee
that
she'd
level.
be down.
What do we have coming up, Dongo? We're doing a journey into comics. What is it?
Don't talk about it. Hasn't been announced
It's
yet.
not been announced yet.
If it's what I think you're talking about.
We've got a really, really big project coming up with the whole network. Where the entire
that's what I thought you were talking about.
The entire network is going to start working on this series, and we've got at least 2 awesome episodes. I'm so excited to drink beers, but then have those topics and be like, so we're going to drink these beers. And now we're going to talk about this other
It
topic.
is going to be Patreon exclusive. So $3, and
Is it
$3?
Is it $3 for this?
Yes.
There's 2 different tiers on the Patreon. It's $1. It's $3. I'm going to do my spiel real quick, and then we're done. I'm trying to keep this short. Think about just the bullshit that you buy. I know that sounds weird. You go to the gas station, you buy gas, you buy a candy bar, you buy a soda, whatever the fuck. You're really hungry, and you go to buy a cheeseburger, and you also buy a small fry. Okay. You could donate that extra whatever, that extra $1. You could donate that to this Patreon account, and that's going to help us continue to do all 10 of these shows. All 10. It's like $20 or $30 to get all 10 of these shows rolling. And if everybody just donated $1 or $2 a month, that would make such a huge difference. Instead
And that's
of
just $1
the
a month.
one time, if you go out
That's
to the
change you find the ground.
If
Yeah.
you go to the bar 2 times a month and buy 2 drinks, you spend $20. You spend 1/5 of that donating to this cause, and you get exclusive content, and you're helping your friends. I mean, we're not profiting.
No,
one's-
we're not.
Nobody.
We're the ones spending money to do this.
This was probably a $50 episode.
I will say,
Just bringing the 2 beers apiece.
being the proprietor of beers that I bought all of it, and it was about $160
For what, 10 different beers?
We have enough to do this episode, another episode, and then my personal beer.
Right.
$160 to have a couple days of enjoyment, because this is what I like doing.
So we're definitely scooting on perhaps preaching. So I'll stop it there.
Yeah, check
but
out-
Yes, there's lots of great shows. Dr. Dongo here. He's got his podcaster fee, and then there's the journey into comics. There's a journey into wrestling. Journey into blah 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 blah. blah.
If you
there's
like it,
so
we're
many
journeying
Game
into it.
Addicts, The Poor Report.
Everything. There's everything. Everything you can think to talk about. Comics, video games, beers, books, everything. They cover absolutely everything.
We do.
So go give them some love. Give them a subscribe. Go to their pages and like them. This was episode 12. Next time we will hit you on episode 13. We're going to have new guests. Maybe. We're going to have new beers. Definitely. And we're excited to share our journey into beer with all of you that are listening.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you, and we will see you next time. I am Nick Maxon. Yee, yee, yee.
Yeah, 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 yeah.